There are islands on Earth that appear on maps for years before suddenly vanishing, islands so isolated that governments deny their existence, even when satellite images clearly show structures, roads, and entire facilities hidden on their coastlines. Some were discovered completely by accident. Others were only noticed after internet users began zooming into strange shapes and blurred regions on Google Maps, and what people found raised questions no one could properly answer. Hidden military compounds, abandoned research stations, mysterious runways deep in the middle of nowhere, and one island, so heavily censored that entire sections of it appear digitally erased. This is our countdown of the 10 hidden islands Google Maps accidentally revealed. Stay until the end because number 1 may contain one of the most secretive facilities ever captured by satellite imagery. And the strangest part is, it was never supposed to be seen at all. Number 10, North Sentinel Island, India. Far out in the Bay of Bengal, roughly 750 miles from mainland India, sits a small forest-covered island, surrounded by shallow coral reefs. From above it looks peaceful, untouched, almost beautiful. But North Sentinel Island is considered one of the most inaccessible places on Earth, not because of storms or terrain, but because the people living there have violently rejected every attempt at outside contact for centuries. For years, the island remained little more than a vague shape on maps, but high-resolution satellite imagery eventually revealed movement structures, pathways through the jungle, and signs of an isolated civilization, completely disconnected from the modern world. Google Maps users began sharing screenshots online, pointing out tiny clearings and primitive huts hidden beneath the trees, and almost immediately, fascination exploded across the internet. The Sentinelese are believed to be one of the last completely uncontacted tribes on Earth. Anthropologists estimate they may have lived in isolation for more than 50,000 years, and the Indian government strictly prohibits anyone from coming within 3 miles of the island after multiple deadly encounters, including the killing of illegal fishermen and outsiders. Attempting contact, authorities realized the tribe wanted one thing above all else: to be left alone. But what made the satellite discoveries so disturbing was not just the evidence of life. It was how normal the island appeared from above. Smoke rising from fires, narrow trails leading toward the beach, and dark shapes moving between the trees as if an entirely separate chapter of human history was unfolding, unnoticed in the middle of the modern world. And yet even that mystery feels small compared to what Google Maps revealed next. Number 8. Surtsey, Iceland in 1963. Fishermen off the southern coast of Iceland witnessed something impossible. The ocean itself appeared to explode. Smoke, ash, and fire erupted from beneath the water, as a volcanic eruption created an entirely new island in real time. The island was named Surtsey, and from the very beginning, scientists realized they were looking at something incredibly rare, the birth of new land untouched by humanity. But what Google Maps later revealed fascinated researchers even more. Over the decades, satellite imagery showed the island slowly transforming dark volcanic rock, becoming covered with moss grasses, birds' nests, and eventually signs of complex ecosystems. Emerging completely from scratch, scientists realized Surtsey was essentially a living laboratory, where they could watch life colonize new land exactly as it may have happened on Earth thousands or even millions of years ago. Because of its scientific importance, access to the island became almost completely forbidden. Only a tiny number of researchers are allowed to visit, and they must follow strict decontamination procedures before stepping ashore. Even accidentally bringing a seed could interfere with decades of ecological research. But despite the restrictions, internet users zooming in on Google Maps noticed something bizarre: patterns appearing in the volcanic terrain, strange geometric paths, and isolated structures that sparked conspiracy theories online. Some claimed hidden military testing. Others believed underground facilities existed beneath the hardened lava. Scientists insist the explanations are natural, but on an island born from fire and sealed from the public, mystery spreads quickly, and what happened on the next island is even harder to explain. Number 7, Morgan Island, United States, just off the coast of South Carolina. There is an island that from satellite view appears strangely overcrowded. Dark figures covering beaches, forests, and roads, almost like the island itself is moving. This is Morgan Island, more commonly known as Monkey Island, and what Google Maps accidentally exposed shocked thousands of people online, because the island is home to more than 4,000 free, roaming rhesus monkeys. The monkeys were originally transported there in the 1970s after a disease outbreak affected research colonies in Puerto Rico. Officials needed an isolated location where the animals could survive and reproduce without human interference, and Morgan Island became the perfect solution. Today, the island is completely off-limits to the public. Boats are prohibited from approaching too closely, and the monkeys themselves have become the subject of endless online speculation. After Google Maps users spotted massive swarms gathering along the shoreline, but the real mystery was not the monkeys. Internet investigators began noticing strange facilities hidden among the trees, docks, security buildings, and fenced compounds, leading many to question what kind of research was still being conducted there. Some theories claimed the island was tied to pharmaceutical testing. Others believed classified biological experiments were taking place beyond the visible areas. Official explanations remain vague, and authorities rarely discuss the island publicly, which only fueled even more curiosity online. And then things became even more disturbing when users discovered an island where entire sections of imagery appeared deliberately blurred. Number 6. Jeannette Island, Russia. Deep in the East Siberian Sea, surrounded by Arctic ice, lies a tiny frozen island, so remote that almost no human beings have ever stepped foot on it. But when satellite users began exploring the Arctic on Google Maps, they noticed something unusual. Parts of Jeannette Island appeared distorted, blurred, and strangely low resolution compared to surrounding areas. At first, people assumed it was simply poor satellite coverage. But the inconsistencies kept appearing: sharp coastlines, suddenly fading into digital smears, strange rectangular shadows hidden beneath cloud artifacts, and unnatural image stitching that looked almost intentional. Theories exploded online. Some believed secret Russian military installations were hidden there. Others pointed to the Arctic's growing geopolitical importance as nations compete for resources and strategic territory beneath the melting ice. If you are finding this fascinating, hit subscribe and turn on notifications, because the islands ahead become far stranger than anything we have covered so far. And number 1 may genuinely be one of the most heavily censored places visible on satellite imagery. Now let us continue with an island that many people believe should not even appear on public maps. Number 5. Ilha de Queimada, Grande, Brazil. Roughly 21 miles off the coast of Brazil sits an island so dangerous that the government has banned almost everyone from visiting it entirely. From satellite view, it looks like paradise: dense rainforest, rocky cliffs, and untouched coastline. But hidden beneath those trees is one of the deadliest concentrations of venomous snakes on Earth. Snake Island, as it is more commonly known, became viral online after Google Maps users zoomed into the island and began spotting strange clearings, abandoned structures, and narrow pathways disappearing into the jungle. Many assumed treasure hunters or smugglers had once used the island, but the truth was far worse. The island is home to the golden lancehead viper, a species found nowhere else on Earth. Scientists estimate there may be thousands of snakes covering the island. In some areas, densities become so extreme that stepping into the forest almost guarantees encountering multiple vipers within seconds, isolated from mainland Brazil. For thousands of years, the snakes evolved extraordinarily potent venom capable of killing prey almost instantly before it can escape, and because there are almost no natural predators, the population exploded unchecked. But what truly terrified online viewers were the abandoned lighthouse ruins visible from satellite imagery. According to local stories, lighthouse keepers once lived on the island until a deadly snake attack wiped out the entire family. Though historians debate whether the story is fully true, the imagery alone was enough to fuel endless speculation. Today, only heavily protected scientific expeditions are allowed to land there, and even they move carefully through terrain where danger hangs from branches, coils beneath leaves, and waits silently between rocks. But the next island may hide something even more secretive, because people were never supposed to see what satellite imagery captured there. Number 4. Diego Garcia, Indian Ocean. In the middle of the Indian Ocean, thousands of miles from major population centers, lies an island shaped almost like a giant hook from above. It appears isolated and peaceful. But when users explored Diego Garcia on Google Maps, they discovered something enormous. Long military runways, massive fuel depots, aircraft shelters, naval facilities, and heavily secured compounds covering much of the island. Diego Garcia is one of the most important military bases on Earth, operated primarily by the United States and the United Kingdom. Its strategic location allows rapid deployment across the Middle East, Asia, and Africa. But despite its significance, the island remains shrouded in secrecy. What sparked online controversy was not simply the base itself, but the history hidden beneath it. Before the military expansion, the island was home to the Chagosian people, an entire population that was forcibly removed during the 1960s and 1970s to make way for military operations. Many were relocated under harsh conditions and have spent decades fighting for the right to return. Satellite imagery exposed the incredible scale of the facilities, while also reigniting questions about what truly happens there. Some analysts believe the island played roles in covert operations, secret aircraft programs, and intelligence missions that governments still refuse to discuss publicly. And yet even Diego Garcia pales in comparison to the next island because what Google Maps revealed there looked almost impossible. Number 3. Poveglia Island, Italy. Hidden within the Venetian lagoon between Venice and Lido sits a small island covered with crumbling buildings, dark vegetation, and the remains of a forgotten past. But when people began exploring the island through satellite imagery and drone footage, they uncovered one of Europe's darkest locations. Poveglia Island has been abandoned for decades. Yet from above, viewers noticed ruined hospitals, bell towers, overgrown courtyards, and strange pathways disappearing into collapsing structures. Its horrifying reputation dates back centuries during outbreaks of plague. Thousands of infected victims were reportedly quarantined. There many died on the island, and mass burial pits were created across its soil later in the 20th century. A psychiatric hospital operated there, fueling stories of medical abuse, mysterious deaths, and unexplained phenomena. Google Maps users became obsessed with the island after noticing how isolated and untouched it remained. Despite sitting near one of the world's most visited tourist destinations, online forums filled with theories about hidden tunnels, sealed chambers, and secret experiments conducted within the asylum ruins. Italian authorities have repeatedly restricted access due to safety concerns, but that has only amplified the island's mythos, because when a place becomes forbidden, people immediately want to know what is hidden there, and the next island contains something even stranger: structures that officially should not exist at all. Number 2. Gruinard Island, Scotland, during World War II. The British government purchased a small island off the coast of Scotland for a terrifying purpose: testing biological weapons for decades. Gruinard Island remained closed to the public and heavily quarantined, but when satellite imagery became widely available, users discovered strange remnants still visible from above isolated buildings, unusual soil discoloration, and restricted zones scattered across the island. The reason was horrifying. In 1942, scientists detonated anthrax bombs on the island to study whether biological warfare could devastate enemy cities. The tests proved terrifyingly successful. Sheep exposed to the spores died rapidly, and the contamination became so severe that the island remained dangerous for nearly half a century. Warning signs were eventually placed around surrounding waters, and the government officially declared the island unsafe for human visitation. What shocked people online was how ordinary the island appeared from above. Calm green terrain surrounded by beautiful ocean scenery, hiding one of the deadliest experiments ever conducted by the British government. Cleanup operations in the 1980s involved dumping hundreds of tons of formaldehyde mixed with seawater onto contaminated soil, and eventually officials declared the island safe again. But many people remain skeptical, because once an island becomes associated with biological weapons and decades of secrecy, suspicion never fully disappears. And now we arrive at number 1, the island many believe is one of the most censored locations ever partially exposed through satellite imagery. Number 1, Snake Island, Antarctica. Far from shipping routes deep within Antarctica, there are regions on satellite imagery where the terrain suddenly becomes distorted, blurred, or strangely edited, and among conspiracy researchers, one location has become infamous: a formation unofficially nicknamed Snake Island. The name comes from the island's unnatural appearance. From above, a long, winding landmass emerging through the ice, resembling the shape of a giant serpent. But what truly triggered worldwide speculation were the structures people claimed to see. Their users analyzing archived Google Maps imagery pointed out geometric shadows, rectangular openings, and what appeared to be artificial entrances carved directly into the ice. Some believed they were simply imaging errors. Others became convinced the island concealed a classified underground facility hidden beneath Antarctica. Theories spiraled rapidly: secret military bases, hidden civilizations, advanced research stations, even claims connected to unexplained aerial sightings in the polar region. Officially, there is no acknowledged installation matching the descriptions found online. But the more imagery users examined, the stranger the anomalies appeared: sections disappearing between updates, unusual heat signatures detected by independent researchers, and entire areas suddenly replaced with lower resolution imagery. Scientists argue most of these effects can be explained by difficult satellite conditions, snow reflection, image stitching, and extreme weather interference. But for many internet investigators, the explanations never fully answered the biggest question: why do some regions of Antarctica appear more heavily obscured than almost anywhere else on Earth? Perhaps there is nothing there at all, or perhaps some places were never meant to be examined. This closely from above, those were the 10 hidden islands Google Maps accidentally revealed: from isolated tribes, frozen Arctic mysteries, abandoned bioweapons facilities, and heavily censored Antarctic anomalies. The world still contains places that feel completely disconnected from ordinary reality, and sometimes all it takes is one satellite image for millions of people to begin asking questions governments would rather avoid. Which island shocked you the most? Drop your answer in the comments. And if you made it this far, you clearly enjoy uncovering hidden mysteries. So subscribe and join us for the next one, because there are still places on Earth the world has not fully explained, and some of them may already be visible from space.